Have you ever thought about where your produce comes from? Most grocery chains receive produce from various local and national farmers. In fact, there are about 3.4 million farmers in the United States today. But of that staggering number, only 45,000 are Black farmers. At the Better Buggy, we are a proud group of Atlanta-based Black-owned farmers, selling produce locally and nationwide. Our easy-to-navigate online platform makes it easy for you to make a one-time purchase or to simplify your life by subscribing to our weekly produce box. Whichever frequency you choose, you can order with confidence, knowing you'll receive 100% organic farm-fresh produce. If you're looking for a thoughtful gift for a loved one that they'd actually find useful, be sure to pop by our online store where you can snag a gift card your recipient can use to order their own produce and t-shirts. Ready to start supporting local Black-owned farms and making healthier food decisions? Visit thebetterbuggy.com now to start shopping.
Ladies and gentlemen, first, Mike Brown's father was suing Black Lives Matter for $20 million. And then recently we had Tamir's Rice mother call them out, saying that they're frauds. And now we have Tamika Palmer, the mother of Breonna Taylor, saying the same exact thing about Black Lives Matter. So this is the Daily Mail, April 17th, 2021. Breonna Taylor's mother slams Black Lives Matter in Louisville and calls the organization a fraud, saying they never done a damn thing for us. The mother of Breonna Taylor, whose daughter was shot by police in her own apartment, remember, in Kentucky, has branded the Black Lives Matter movement a fraud. I have never personally dealt with BLM, Louisville, and personally have found them to be fraud. Attica Scott, another fraud. Tamika Palmer wrote in a Facebook post earlier this week. Her criticism comes amid a backlash against the national co-founder of BLM after it was revealed that she owns a multi-million-dollar property empire. Meanwhile, Palmer also lashed out at state Democrat Rep. Attica Scott, who has continued to push for legislation to ban the no-knock warrant. Remember, they are supposed to do away with that. And, I believe her mother. I really do. It don't take a rocket scientist for you to realize that something is definitely wrong when it comes down to this organization. And we're hearing a lot of negative feedback from people. And we know Black Lives Matter raised, a lot of money just off of the George Floyd death. Corporations and all kinds of organizations were donating to them. So they made hand over fist money just off of George Floyd's death alone. So the fact that they have accumulated that kind of money and didn't do a damn thing for anyone, that is really something that needs to come out more. I hope in the future more families come forward and talk about their experience with Black Lives Matter. Okay. She also criticized people who raised money on the behalf of her daughter's family without actually knowing either her or Taylor. I could walk in a room full of people who claim to be here for Breonna's family who didn't even know who I am. I've watched y'all raise money on the behalf of Breonna's family, who has never done a damn thing for us, nor have we needed it. Or she acts so, talk about fraud. So she's saying you're all out here raising money and using Breonna Taylor's name to raise money, and you haven't done a thing for this family. Well, that is pretty messed up. That's pretty messed up. It's amazing how many people have lost focus. I'm saying this before I go. I'm so sick of some of y'all. And I was last anybody who needs it, she added. Mm-mm-mm. The officers involved in Taylor's death, Detective Joshua James and Miles Cosgrove, have not been charged in her death. Both they were fired. If y'all remember, they did fire these cops, but they didn't charge them. And if you remember that laughable grand jury that Daniel Cameron put on, he didn't even mention Breonna Taylor in the whole thing, just the white neighbors above her who had, bullets go into their apartment. That was the only thing he focused on. Left Breonna Taylor out of the whole thing, and she's the one that was dead. Okay, so they were both fired from LMPD. And on the night of the incident, Louisville police officers executed a search warrant used to, and they claim, it was all a mistake. They're even now calling Breonna Taylor's death an accidental shooting. Whatever. Always trying to find a loophole to get yourself out of a crime. All right. So Taylor was inside, if you remember, with her boyfriend Kenneth Walker, and he had no idea what was going on. And they're claiming he shot one of the cops, but according to the ballistic, that bullet didn't come from his gun. Go figure, right? Police were investigating two men they believe were selling drugs out of a house not far from Taylor's home. The judge signed a warrant allowing a search because police said they believe one of the men had used the apartment to receive packages. So a judge signed off of that just based on their words and no evidence, huh? Says a lot right there. Walker later told police he feared the loud banging at the door and was Taylor's boyfriend at the time. And he believed somebody was trying to break in. That's what he thought. After the police knocked the door off its hinges, Taylor fired his gun once, and they're claiming it struck Jonathan Mattingly. And this is the one that's brought up on sex crimes, y'all. Yeah, these squeaky clean cops. So they claim it hit him in the thigh. The police responded by firing several shots, striking Taylor 5 times. Today, her mother is still upset because remember, Breonna Taylor did not get any medical attention the whole time for 20 minutes when she was shot. After 20 minutes, there was still nothing administered to her. And just imagine that this woman was an EMT, and that's what she did for a living. And no one bothered to save her. All right, the Courier Journal of Louisville reported citing dispatch logs last month. Palmer struck a more a generous tone over Black Lives Matter. So, I have to believe these folks now. Now we got 3 different separate family members of someone that was gunned down by police that are saying Black Lives Matter is a fraud. And at this point, I believe it. And I really didn't need all of this to believe it. I knew something wasn't right about that organization. When it comes down to us, it just seems like we always get hit with the worst of the worst. It really does. But y'all tell me what you think about this. I hope, we hear more from these families. If they're not getting anything, because I know Tamir's Rice's mother said she didn't get nothing. So if she didn't get nothing and you're hearing the same thing about Tamika Palmer, they're using the names of Mike Brown, Breonna Taylor, and all of these Tamir Rice and many others that Black Lives Matter have been involved with. They've been involved with many shootings, and they're just using the victim's name in order to raise money for the organization, but they don't actually do anything for the family. They could at least have some kind of fund set up where they can allocate funds to the family when these things happen. Then I could say, yeah, you're pretty useful. But if you're not giving them anything, then what good are you? And I don't blame them. They need to sue you for using their children images to become rich and just leave them out of the loop altogether. It's not right. And they know it's not right. And yes, I did hear about the CEO of Black Lives Matter buying a mansion and all that stuff. Now you know where the money's going. Just self-serving stuff and not really there for the community at all. But please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.